Alright, so either you've made it to this point because you watched my huge long rant about what happened, or you just skipped to this point. Either works. So what's up with all these videos? I'm just going to put a huge thing of thumbnails up here of people walking around, picking up, 10 or 20 arrowheads in a day and go, yep, that was a pretty good day. And they all have the exact same accent too, or very similar variations of that accent. Well, I'm going to tell you why they're all in that area. So most of the people who find significant quantities of arrowheads, usually big, long, beautiful, meticulously decorated arrowheads compared to other arrowheads maybe found in other parts of the country, you'll notice that they're all along the Mississippi River Basin area, or somewhere along the Red River by Louisiana, or one of those south, kind of deep south or Midwest states. From like Missouri south. And let's put up a quick map here of the rivers and what the streams look like comparatively to the west coast, and just put all the rivers up just for everybody to see. And you can kind of make a quick assumption about why people tend to stay in those areas. Because agriculture is absolutely critically important to growing in population size, and more people equals more mouths need to be fed, more people are hunting, which means more arrowheads are being made, which means higher density of artifacts in one area. We look at sites like Cahokia. We look at places that have 20,000 people living in a native metropolis. And you just have to imagine however long Cahokia lasted, is that thousands and thousands and thousands upon tens of thousands of people all making arrowheads, or at least some of them making tons of arrowheads to be used. They're going to be relatively cheap, and they're going to be lost, and it's going to be cheaper to go back to the market and buy some more arrowheads from the arrowhead maker, the napper, than it would be to go retrieve the arrowhead. Not only that, but you're going to have people going out really far to go get better hunting. So you're going to have a really wide dispersion of hunting, because certain areas are going to get kind of raped in wildlife and animals, because they're going to be over exploiting their resources. So you're going to have this huge circle in this area, and I'm telling you, if you're making videos where you're finding 20 arrowheads a day, you live in this circle. It's just how it is. And also, the vast majority of artifacts that you'll find are from the period when these mega societies lived, where they were fueled by agriculture, corn, squash, and beans, which allowed the production of many more people. And so that is the main reason why there's so many videos of people making it look like it's as simple as walking out to a creek and sticking a stick in the ground and feeling for crunchy material. That is such garbage if you live anywhere outside of this very specific, unique archaeological area where you can find an extreme density. I mean, like, look at some of these photos. I'm going to put some photos up. You have to see how crazy these caches are of arrowheads. I mean, absolutely insane. And people, these are just spilling out into streams. Every time there's a rain, you go out into plow fields, and you just find you are loading yourself with artifacts, but they're all from the same age, roughly, about 1,000 years, give or take. And they're all kind of made by the same people. And so there's this illusion that it's easy to find, but if you go to California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, any of those areas, they just simply didn't have the agriculture that the people had in this little area. Because the soil was extremely fertile, they had a ridiculous amount of fresh water, and which functioned as highways that connected them to all different areas, and they happened to also live right on top of some of the best flint knapping material, all these different cherts, flints, and just beautiful, beautiful rocks, and Flint Ridge, and just all these Ohio cherts, beautiful stuff. Not only that, but they also had a milder climate, and that contributed to them being able to go out and hunt more. They weren't limited by, there's 12 feet of snow and we can't move for half the year like you would in Montana. So they were out much more. People didn't really live in states that were harsh like Montana or those places permanently. They went up there north from places further south and hunted when the bison was good, and then they came down. So people were only ephemerally in some of these areas, and you're not really going to find many artifacts because there wasn't a lot of napping stone. The thing is, if imagine that you are a Paleolithic or Mesolithic or whatever hunter-gatherer in Montana, and you have a Montana agate arrowhead tipped on your bow or atlatl or whatever they used, and you miss. It's these big, beautiful open plains, not these lush, deciduous forests. So you could see exactly where your arrow landed, and you'd go retrieve it. And if it was still usable, you'd use it. If it was broken, you'd refix it and nap it because it's too valuable to lose stone. So it's a very seldomly that a native would leave an arrow just laying there, and they wouldn't really have much chance to lose it either, because they would so blatantly see it sticking out of the ground wherever they were hunting on most of the west coast that was plains. If you're along the coast that was luscious forest and it was harder to find the arrowhead, they didn't really use stone tools as much. They used, adzes and stuff, but they didn't use stone projectile points. They used bone projectile points because stone was so hard to come by. So that covers the whole coast and the whole West Plains. There was no reason, to be honest with you guys, after the glaciers left and went north, there was no trees. People want to say it was forest back then. We chopped all the forest down. It wasn't. Once the glaciers receded, it was like a tundra up there, and there's really no reason to be up there anyways, other than to follow game ephemerally. So that's the reason why there is very few arrowheads for every 5,000 in the Cahokia general area, and I mean all the states in the general area, and the Mississippi River and all that stuff. There's like 5,000 there, and then maybe one for every 5,000 this way. So that is your reasoning, and I hope that saves people a lot of time from wasting years of their life watching YouTube videos of people in Ohio and trying to go out in California, Oregon, Washington, anywhere, and really trying to look for stuff because it's just damn hard. It's thin and slim pickings.